Hello, and my name is Pete Rushmer, and I'm your host today of A Half Dozen Things podcast. A Half Dozen Things is a podcast for business owners just like you. Whether you're an underdog hungry for success, or you're already smashing it but want to continue to level up, we are here each week for you to get insight and learning from the very best in the business. No fluff, no BS, and no self-proclaimed gurus talking about how easy business or life is. Hello and welcome to this lunchtime live around drug and alcohol and fleet drivers. I decided to do this this session for my podcast, A Half Dozen Things, but also as a lunchtime live as we get ready for the festive period. It's an exciting time for everyone, and everyone's looking forward to a good break and a holiday. So here I am in front of one of the many Christmas trees that Flagship Partners have this year. Anyone that knows the business and knows Maggie in particular, she's dead keen for Christmas. She's almost the female version of Elf from the movie, and she loves nothing more than putting up a Christmas tree. So anyone that comes to visit us, certainly in the later part of November and December as well, is going to be greeted by a well-decorated Christmas tree. She's actually even made herself this den for her office in the workplace. So she really loves Christmas. But yeah, hopefully you're starting to feel in the Christmas spirit and starting to look forward to the Christmas festivities. I don't intend to sort of poo-poo anyone's celebrations part of doing this recording, but it's a vital part of road safety. Vital part of what we do at Flagship Partners, making sure that fleet operators are safe and maintaining a safe working environment, as well as ensuring that we raise awareness of road safety campaigns. So at this stage, talking about drugs and alcohol seems like it makes sense. Good friend of mine, Leslie O'Brien at her Freight People, recently she did a session with about drugs and alcohol and testing as well. So it feels like it's an important part of what we're doing. Thank you, someone there. I've just been told a LinkedIn user said a timely topic and lovely decoration. So yeah, thank you very much. I can't take any credit for them. I'm actually a bit of a Scrooge. Not only am I not a big fan of Christmas, I do enjoy it for the children, but actually, I also don't drink either. So I'm a little bit like preaching to the converted, particularly around doing a session around drink driving, because it's something I don't do. I haven't drunk since I was 18. I don't particularly enjoy it. But anyway, I'm just going to share some statistics and why it's important that as a fleet operator, even if whether that's HGVs or whether you run a grey fleet of vehicles, whether you've got vans or company cars in your fleet, well, it's important to start thinking about drink driving at this stage of the year. And as part of setting up this session, I've done some research, and I had a look at drinkdriving.org, and I found on there's some statistics for over a 35-year period up until recent years. And on average, 666 people are killed each year as a result of drink driving, and over 3,500 are seriously injured. Okay, so there's some shocking statistics. It's a big challenge. Numbers have dropped year on year, which is fantastic as awareness is raised, and the social the social side of it is that it's less and less acceptable, which is fantastic. But we are looking at around 85,000 convictions annually as well across the UK. Now that's some pretty big statistics, and I think that it's important for us to recognise that as managers in our business, and that we may have a sort of covering of the general population in our workplaces, and what we can do not only to protect other road users, but also to protect our businesses and protect our brands as well. One of the other bits of research I found was on confused.com. They actually did a poll of 2,000 UK drivers, and they found that 36% were confused themselves as to what the drink drive alcohol limits were on the road. And 37% of those that were surveyed said that they'd drive after one drink, and 32% said after two drinks. Now, the actual official limit in the UK is 80 milligrams per 100 millilitres of blood, and in Scotland it's actually even less, at 50 milligrams. And actually, there was there was actually a percentage of drivers who said that they would be, that almost 42% of the poll admitted knowingly of driving over the limit or thinking that they were potentially over the limit. So that's 42% of those 2,000 randomly surveyed. That's a serious number of people who potentially take some risks the following day after having had or enjoyed a night out. It might have been, a party of some sort or whatever, but that's a fair amount of people that are willing to take a bit of a chance. And we see year on year about a 20% increase of drink driving convictions over the Christmas period or due to the Christmas period. So now is a very timely time for us to talk about that, particularly with a lot of companies organising their Christmas parties. They're getting people together to celebrate, and by all means that's a wonderful thing for us to do. It's really, really important that we get together and we celebrate Christmas, we celebrate the wins, and we enjoy ourselves. But actually the reason for the session is to think about what this means for us and how we can work together to ensure that we maintain road safety and promote road safety. Well, the official statistics was 80 milligrams per 100 millilitres of blood. Well, alcohol leaves the body on average at about 1 unit per hour, but that can vary from person to person. And as I was doing the research, I was looking, and there's 3 key factors that affect the amount of time or affect the alcohol level in someone's body. And the first is the amount of alcohol that's been consumed. The second is the period of time during which the consumption's taken place. And then the third is the speed that the body is able to get rid of the alcohol. Hi, it's Pete from Flagship Partners. We're really proud to sponsor a Half Dozen Things podcast. At Flagship Partners, we take road safety really seriously, and we're your road safety partnership. We help transport companies with compliance and training across their businesses, including first aid, driver CPC, and other transport management services. So if you're FORS accredited or you want to improve your operator compliance risk score, give Flagship Partners a call today. 3 key factors, and actually it makes it really quite complex, doesn't it? So it makes you wonder, or it makes me wonder, like, what's the point in even taking the chance? It's probably better just not to think about it. There were several myths that I came across as well, which was that sleep can help reduce the alcohol levels, as well as cold water and coffee, and actually they're proven not to work. So a bit of a myth buster there as well for people. I did have a look at the Luton website as I was looking at sort of how long alcohol takes to leave the body, and there was an interesting article that I found on there. If someone drinks 8 pints of ordinary strength beer, which for most people that's probably a good night out, eight pints of beer, and they were to stop at midnight, so they haven't carried on too late. But based on that research, they reckon that driver would be unsafe to drive with alcohol having left their body until 4 p.m. the following day. So that just sort of goes to show that actually on a average night's drinking, not staying out too late, the potential for drink driving the following day is really, really quite high. So it makes you think about whether it's actually worth doing at all. So as I prepared this, I was sort of thinking about this in the context of a fleet operator and in the context of a business as well. And I'd got a good example actually. And I know I've really sort of just focused on drink for now, but drugs are even worse. They actually take longer. Certainly marijuana takes much longer to be processed by the body. And I'm aware of a case recently where someone uses marijuana on a regular basis, and it takes almost 4 weeks of non-use to test clear of that. So it's something really, really for companies to consider, directors to consider, and certainly people managers. And the other thing is around brand and reputation. So certainly HGV operators and transport managers need to consider their repute and what they do on a proactive basis to help manage drivers. In the case of someone driving an HGV under the influence of alcohol, or getting caught under the influence of alcohol, it's very likely that will end up as a driver conduct hearing, and the transport operation itself, how they manage drivers, will potentially be looked at by the traffic commissioner. I came across an incident certainly earlier this year, I believe, where there was a situation where an operator that I know, and we've done some training with them before, one of their agency drivers was actually caught roadside under the influence of drugs. And actually what had happened is that the police force that had found them in the other part of the country had actually posted it on Twitter. And before the company director had even been notified. So word spreads really quickly. And the reason I use that analogy is actually the brand reputation. A lot of company vehicles, vans, etc., have company markings on them. They have branding on them. So it's quite a scary thing to think that you spend all that time positively promoting your business, and actually there's a possibility that there could be a negative impact quite rapidly if someone was to break the rules in a company vehicle. So it's just something for people to consider. It's certainly a case that I came across recently. So what can we do? What can we do sort of proactively to protect the company and to raise awareness with people? Well, certainly before I get into the policies and the procedural side of things, I think it's worthwhile having a think about the internal communications. How are we communicating the invitations to our Christmas parties? How are we internally communicating our stance on drink, drugs and driving? There's lots and lots we can do around the way we invite people, the way that we share internal communications from a newsletter point of view, from a magazine point of view, share some of the statistics. We could do some training with people. We can do some short awareness sessions, some toolbox talks, maybe even share videos like this. Often it doesn't need to be the shock factor. People often have seen the shock factor this time of year. The videos will come out from the police and the highways agency around drink driving statistics. So people are sort of aware of those shock tactics, but actually what can we do internally to help promote that? And then aside from that, moving on to thinking about policies and procedures, what have we got in our policies? What's in our employment contracts? Have we reviewed them recently enough? Do you carry out testing? One of the reasons for me wanting to run this video is that I've come across recently, particularly in some of the Facebook communities as a transport manager that I follow and speak to. There's certainly a concern from business owners and fleet operators around drug and alcohol testing, and with the alleged driver shortage. At the moment, that obviously drivers are readily available. They can go and drive anywhere. So actually implementing a drug and alcohol testing was, I saw there being some negative viewpoints, that people were worried that drivers would leave if that was the case. And I think that actually a lot of the bigger operators now, certainly that I come across, is part of the contract. It's something that they do on a regular basis. A lot of the work providers that I'm aware of that uphold certain standards as part of their prerequisites for carrying out work for them require drivers to be tested regularly for drugs and alcohol. And actually, I think if we reframe that as a transport operation, and one of the things that, if people would like to reach out and speak to me at Flagship around that, one of the things that we do is reframe that around, actually, this is our business, this is our brand, this is our reputation, and this is what we stand for, and we stand for road safety, and this is why. And actually, we can start to introduce those things, and actually, it will make sure that the right people are working in your business. And that's sort of my advice as I've spoken to people about it. We need to make sure that we've got the right people working, and those that take umbrage to being tested, they're doing their bit for road safety by agreeing to be tested, and those that refuse to are potentially people that you may not want to work for you. So those are the things to think about. You may need to sort of seek some specialist HR advice. I'm more than happy to help anyone that wants some support with that. If you've got your own experience, please do share in the comments. It'd be really, really good to engage with people, hear their experiences. What have they come across? I've come across some drug testing recently that I alluded to earlier. I used a company called Crystal, who were absolutely brilliant. They were really confidential in the way they carried their work out. They were really professional in the way that they tested.
I was really, really, really impressed with them. So I know I can recommend them, but who would you recommend for drug and alcohol testing? Please do tag them in below. I'm really interested to hear people's feedback on this. I have a community on Facebook called the Transport Manager and Consultant Hub, where we have these conversations. So please do come and join the conversation. It'd be great to hear from you, and I really hope that you found this worthwhile, and I hope that it's interesting. And if you do want to share it with your colleagues, hopefully it'll help raise awareness too. Anyway, take care now, and catch you soon. I really hope you loved today's episode, and if you did, please make sure you subscribe and listen out for future episodes too. Please do share it across your social media channels. We hope to reach more and help more people. If you want to find out more about me, my name's Pete Rushmer. You'll find me across any social media channel and my business Flagship Partners, and we're your partners in success across your business. Thank you. See you again soon.